Hi, welcome to Day Drinking with Ace, the podcast where we talk about the influencer industry and all things creative. Today I'm joined by Imogen, who is an influencer but also an actress.
Yes, I am.
You look like you could use a drink.
So you might not know this about me, but I actually also started out as an actress.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, wow, there we go.
Yeah, so when I was smaller, I had a few jobs, and then I went to uni for acting, which I'm not gonna lie, was a ride. But then I just didn't end up doing it because I didn't want to be poor.
No, yeah, that is fair enough. We're poor.
We're poor.
I'm just speaking for everyone here. All us actor girls, we're poor. No, it is stressful. It is stressful, but I mean, you kind of just have to be like, I want to do this, and I don't want to do anything else.
To be honest, I feel like if you persist in acting, and if you really find the moment where the time is right, the typecasting is right, it can just be your big break, and it can really get easier from there.
Oh yeah, you've just got to get your foot in the door, and it is all about who you know. We're not gonna
Absolutely. To be honest, it's very, very true. It's all about who you know and all of those things, but also the amount of time that it takes to cross the bridge between being no one and getting your foot in the door is quite hard.
Well, this is the thing. It's like you get casting directors say, we need people with credits, and you're like, okay, but how am I meant to get those credits if you want people with credits? Like, you've got to start somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
What is it, Spotlight credits as well,
Yeah, Spotlight credits. We love Spotlight. Basically, like a missing persons database for actors.
Pretty much. So how did it start out for you? When did you decide I really want to get into acting? Oh, also cheers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, sorry. Completely forgot.
Aperols.
Aperol, of course. I would say very young age.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably about 3 when I went to my first dance school in Brighton, and I was mainly a dancer from there. Like, I just loved it. Like, I loved being on stage. Like, my sister, she would always be on stage, and then I'd go to my mum like, I really want to be on the stage. I really want to do it. I want to dance. So then I ended up going to the same dance school as my sister. And
When you were 3.
when I was about 3, yeah.
That's
doing
very
like
young.
Little Bear's Picnic in my pajamas, things like that. And like
That's
even when
so
I did like
cute.
school nativities and things like that, I was like, I am then really enjoying this. And I was getting main parts, and I was like, God, this is for me.
That is
Me
so
at 4, like,
cute.
this is for me.
Once in my school play, I got a shitty role. Well, at least I thought it was a shitty part. It was a small part, even though there's no small parts.
There's no such
And I literally said, I will rather be a cactus on stage than take this part. I was so dramatic about it. Then they did.
You had the diva in you.
They created more lines for me.
Stop. Oh my God, that was brilliant. How old were you?
I was old. I was like 10. I was not 3.
So the diva was there.
Yeah.
No, I was mainly a dancer, and then from there started singing lessons, loved it, and always wanted to kind of do West End, like musical theatre. And then so I went to Italia Conti.
Oh.
Yeah, and I did all sorts, like musical theatre. I did acting, I did singing, tap, dance, tap, ballet, all of that sorts. And absolutely loved it. And then I got picked up by an agency who ran Italia Conti. And
How old were you then?
I was about 10,
Mm-hmm.
I think. No. Yeah, 10.
So young.
Yeah. And I was a child actor, and I did like I did a lot of like auditions, but never actually got any roles, which was tough. But
I mean, we love rejection, don't we?
honestly, rejection is nothing to me nowadays.
I mean, I know. I remember I cried the first time they didn't take me. Then I was like, oh, well.
Literally, when I was 8, I auditioned for The Sound of Music, West End. I auditioned for the part of Marta, and there was like 7 rounds to this audition, like to this whole process, and I had to, I had to go through all of the auditions when I was 8,
Which is so intense on top of
especially
school
being,
and this and that.
yeah, especially being so young, like my mum having to take me out of school for these auditions and things like that, and getting so far. And they offered me the part of Marta, and I was honestly like, I was so happy.
Yeah.
And the next day, I then got an email saying that they were going to carry the Martyrs on their contract for another 6 months. So I'd been offered the role.
And
then
literally it was taken away the next day?
Yeah.
Now, okay, now that's really tough. I'm not going to lie. That is really
so
tough.
I kind of, once I recovered from that, I was a bit like, I feel like I'm made out for this.
Yeah.
And then from there, I carried on doing dance and stuff. And then it got to my GCSEs, and obviously I was more focused on my grades and things like that. Focused on my grades. And then...
a bit focused on your grades.
And
you
then,
went to school.
Yeah.
I mean, I, for example,
passed
skipped
everything.
2/3 of my school, so...
And look where you are now.
Not acting.
And and then I was doing drama here and there still, but I just was focused on my grades. Then I kind of went, I don't really want to do this. I want to go into, I don't know, being an archaeologist, or because I loved history, or going into languages, and that's what I ended up doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mum was like, no, you get free education until you're 19. She was one of those. And
I mean, to be honest, valid.
I mean,
valid.
You know what? I thank her now.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I did musical theatre for a year, and I didn't really like it because it was mainly like contemporary musicals and things that we were doing, and I was like, I'm really bad. Like I was singing like Mean Girls stuff and like Heathers, and I was just thinking, this is just maybe not for me. And then I ended up going to drama school in Brighton, like university, and my singing teacher, I sang a Heather song to him, and he was like, Imogen, this isn't you. Like, you are actually a classical singer.
That's so interesting.
So then he was teaching me classically, and I was like, oh, okay, so I suit more like Les Mis, Kiss Me Kate, Oklahoma, things like that. And I really enjoyed musical theatre, but being surrounded by musical theatre kids, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not as...
intense.
Maybe I'm not as theatre kid as I thought I was. And I then was just kind of... I preferred acting. I was doing, screen and film courses on the side and things like that, and I was really, really enjoying it. Whereas I would have like West End auditions and things like that, which I was so grateful for. But I'd go in and I'd do it, obviously do my best, come out and be like, I absolutely hated that. Whereas I'd have an acting audition and maybe not do so well, but I'd come out and go, okay, on to the next.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I realised that I was like, okay, so acting's more my... And also COVID kind of changed that as well, because I was dancing in my living room.
Yeah, I mean,
Zoom.
How did that go for you in a sense? Because obviously you couldn't go to classes, you couldn't really go and act in person. Yeah. What happened during COVID?
I mean, it was obviously an interesting time. I will say that. We had to do a lot more like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Academic. Yeah, so it was a lot more academic, like essays and things like that, which we were kind of doing anyway, but it was a lot more research and development for things.
And this is uni work.
Yeah, this is uni work. And I was doing singing lessons over Zoom, and I would kind of have to say, sorry, I can't sing today because my mum's on a call. Like, it was just mental, like thinking back to the reality of it all. And we then kind of, it felt more acting based, the course during COVID, because I mean, obviously dancing lessons weren't really
in your living room.
In my living room, like I was kicking the table, I was kicking my dad, like
poor dad.
Like, Jeff, move out of the way.
Move out of the way.
But and we focused on more how to do self-tapes and things, because I think that's what helped more. Obviously during COVID, because you couldn't see anyone, and that's what the future is now. Like, people are
Absolutely.
doing less in-person auditions, and
It's
all,
a lot remote, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess because they don't have to hire a space and they can get more people to audition for it.
And also, not a lot of people live in this city where they're auditioning anymore.
Exactly. And it's like some people are traveling like 2 hours for a 10-minute audition.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely also helped me realise that I was more acting based, and I was just, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing the screen acting. I enjoyed the small kind of micro expressions, and I was just like, this is so different from theatre acting. And I was like, it made me realise that I was like, musical theatre maybe isn't actually for
Maybe
me.
not.
I mean, it's better to say I'm an actress who can sing and dance than say I'm a triple threat musical theatre performer. Like,
that
it sounds
does
like you've
make
got
sense.
more strings to your bow.
To be honest, musical theater, I think you need to be so resilient in terms of being able to sing and dance and act, all to a point where you're professional pretty much in 3 completely different things.
Yeah, and it's weird because it feels like a completely different industry as well. Because being in the musical theatre industry, it just seems a lot more cutthroat and a little bit more toxic.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough because everyone's like, I need to do this, and it's great because everyone's got that hunger. And I don't know, with acting, like just, screen and film auditions and things like that, the industry just seems a lot more supportive because there's no right answer. Like, everyone's got their own style of acting and dancing or whatever. And whereas musical theatre, it's like, you have to do it this way. You have to do it this way.
Be aligned with what the theme is, basically.
So
So when did social media come into play for you?
it came into play during lockdown. I feel like
How unsurprising.
I know. I feel like everyone kind of jumped on the bandwagon for
Yeah.
that. I was just kind of posting for fun, just things that were trending or dances or the odd lip sync here and there from Gavin and Stacey. I was just like, this is fun. Like
So it started as kind of a
nothing else
hobby.
to do.
Yeah, I mean, what were we doing? Board games and puzzles.
literally, and quizzes.
Yeah, quizzes.
And so I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this just for fun because it's something for me to do. And I didn't think anything of it. And then, it wasn't until November of last year that obviously it kind of took a turn.
So what happened?
I basically posted a video of me doing like a point of view, like POV of your boyfriend is going to play golf situation, which obviously I feel like a lot of girls or partners can relate to this because it's golf widows are a thing. And there was an audio that was trending, and it was an audio from the film Legend, the Cray twins with Tom Hardy. And I was like, I love this film, and I went, I've got a really good idea for this. And so I used this POV with the audio, not thinking anything of it. I was just like, this is a bit of fun, whatever happens, happens. And I said to myself as a joke, actually, once I posted it, I was like, this is going to go viral, like, as a joke, because I pretty much said that after every single post I made.
Manifestation.
I think it was. And wake up and then I've got like 3.5 million views.
That's actually insane. 3.5 million is like viral.
I know. And it's so weird because obviously at the time I was thinking, oh my God, this is absolutely mental. And I'd gained like almost 50,000 followers in the space of like 2 months.
That's insane.
And
going from how many?
I think I had like 400.
Okay, I mean, that's a difference.
400 to like 50k is a massive difference.
That is a massive leap.
And it's weird though, because now I'm kind of doing it, and like obviously from that video, people are going, oh, can you do this audio? Can you do the full scene from this? And how does this voice suit you? You're like you look like quite a girly girl, and how does a British bloke gangster suit you? And things like that. And I was like, what, I'm going to prove me wrong. Like, I've got a bit of gruff in me, like...
So basically your audience... you grew up in a pub. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
So does your family own a pub?
They used to.
Okay, not anymore.
Not anymore. About over 10 years ago. But I think I kind of got the confidence and stuff from, being surrounded by people all the time. And I mean, my
Also
dad's
the vibes.
yeah, my
and-
dad's a bit of a bloke. Like he's, you know, like he's a proper geezer. And I think I just kind of got it from that. And
Do you think that seeing all kinds of different people, because obviously with a pub, you see a lot of different
yeah.
characters,
Yeah,
it kind of fueled your knowledge and your desire to act and recreate it.
probably, yeah, because I think maybe there would be times where I do like an impression of someone,
Yeah.
like one of our regulars, and my mum would just be like, "That's so spot on."
Yeah.
I'd be like 7, and it was weird, but that probably makes sense, to be honest. And so people comment and go, "Oh, can you do this one? Can you do something from Peaky Blinders?"
I love Peaky Blinders.
I love Peaky Blinders. It was so, and they're fun to do, and like I'm obsessed with Guy Ritchie. So,
Okay.
yeah, Guy Ritchie, if you're watching.
Hello.
I need to be in the Gentleman series too. Thank you very much. But I absolutely love like all of his films and like obviously the recent series. And I did a lot of stuff from the Gentleman.
Yeah.
And that got loads of reception as well. People were like, "Oh, you need to be in the next Guy Ritchie film." And I was like, honestly, it'd be a dream to be in like a proper British gangster film.
Yeah.
I
I could imagine you in one.
love it. I absolutely love it.
Do you think that actually, like nowadays with social media and, you know, like all these influencer movies and all these things, that having a social media is important for actors?
I think, obviously, it's in the last few years, especially after COVID, it has really, really, like, what they call it stunt casting.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much like getting, I don't know, like YouTubers or people of a large following in certain shows or
Yeah.
things like that, which obviously it's great, you know, because they're trying to, realistically, like if you're looking on Netflix and
Yeah.
you see people with, you haven't ever heard of their names, are you ever going to watch that film? It is tough. So they want people with big names, which I understand is completely fair enough, but it gives us girls no chance.
Yeah.
But even when I was at uni, we would have talks about social media and how that actually is a massive part to play in your personal marketing. And so we had this woman say to us, "Oh, you have to make sure all your photos are recent.
Yeah.
You can't be having people like, oh yeah, scrolling until like 6-7 years ago.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So you need to basically brush up your social media every so often. You need to make sure that you've got all of your links, your spotlight and things like that, nothing too inappropriate and things like that. Like you've got to, it's your way of promoting yourself. It's like you're
So
your
it's a
own brand.
portfolio, basically.
Pretty much. And
Yeah.
so that kind of, you know, from there made me realize, oh, okay, so social media has got a massive part to play in like your own marketing.
Yeah.
And I think obviously TikTok massively helped that because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, you know, if I'm going to carry on acting, I'm going to do it on TikTok, and it's keeping me in the loop. It's keeping me doing something I love, and also it's hopefully giving me
Yeah.
exposure.
For sure. I mean, we talk about personal branding a lot within ACE in general, because we really believe that for creators, as well as obviously now also actors, it's very important to have a very clear personal brand, who they are, who they're not, what they want to do. But obviously with acting, there's a lot of typecasting as well. Do you feel like your social media can help you be put in the box you want to be put?
I think, yes. I mean, obviously, because when you get cast for things, it just comes up with, Spotlight, it just comes up with the database, and it's literally
Yeah.
just the first photo that the casting directors see, a little bit about yourself. And it's like, obviously, the first thing they see is that I'm a blonde, like a white, heterosexual female. And
Doesn't really give gangster vibes.
no, it really doesn't. And this is why I kind of do prefer in-person auditions as
Yeah.
well, because they get to
See
know
and
you.
get a vibe, yeah.
But yeah, typecasting, it does happen. And obviously, you know, if I was gonna get a role that ended up being something that was like, I don't know, because I always get cast for the bitch. Or,
That's
or
interesting.
the dumb
I
blonde.
thought you would more be like the friend, the nice girl, the girlfriend.
No, never.
Really? I would see you as
Yeah.
the girlfriend.
I get cast as like the feisty friend or these kind of things, and I'm like, you know
I'm
what?
clearly typecasting you wrong.
See, you typecasting
I
me.
feel like you should be a girlfriend or like, you know, the pretty girl at school, not the
Girl next
bitch.
door. No. Well, clearly not, but I do find that the castings that I get are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have rarely got one that's so out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I did get one for a prostitute once, so that was fun.
I mean, that is out there.
Bridgerton, if you're watching, why didn't you cast me in that?
But I feel like you could totally be in Bridgerton. That's what I feel like that's the vibe that you get.
I would like that. Obviously, you know, like my look is very period drama.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would love stuff like that. So typecasting would work in my favor in that sense. But I think social media for sure. Like when I post stuff with me, like just the versatility that I obviously believe I have and try to show on my TikTok. I do want it to make me look more versatile.
So
that
do you
I don't
want to
get
show
typecasted.
versatility rather than, like, let's say you want to try and get cast for Bridgerton, would you just post like similar things to that, or is it important to keep all kinds of things going on your socials?
I think it's also stuff that I kind of enjoy because I don't like, although, you know, I did go viral and it was mental, and like now it's become like a, I don't know, a slightly part-time job.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do kind of have to find different things, but I do also want to do it for my enjoyment as well, because I don't want to lose my love for it. But I do. I mean, if I am wanting to get cast in something, then I have playlists for that. So like, if someone wants to see like my female roles, then they can go into that and things like that, or like my gangster roles or my Gavin and Stacey things.
Okay.
So I kind of have like my comedy, I have my drama, I have my gangster stuff. So I do want to show that I'm versatile, just so I don't get typecasted all the time.
Pigeonhole, basically, yeah.
But then if I wouldn't complain if someone said, we've got a role for you here.
Yeah.
It is the girl next door. I'd be like, honey, don't worry about it. If it's going to be on Netflix, I'm there.
I mean, why not, no?
I'm not going to say no.
Do you notice a difference when you go to auditions between people that do have a social media presence and the ones that don't?
I mean, a lot of the time the castings that I get are self-tape, so I actually obviously never really see who they are. But when I talk to my agent, they do say in the brief, this one requires a large social media following.
Okay, so it is definitely a thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, if I've got a casting, sometimes it is because I've got a larger social media following. And a lot more auditions have come up for me because of my following. Yeah. So it does come into it a lot. And I think a lot of it isn't maybe because of they want the name. It's more so they want the exposure on social media platforms.
Of course. Also for their own marketing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously like TikTok and Instagram and stuff, like it is, social media is like the future and they want marketing that way.
Yeah. How do you feel about this? Because I sometimes look at these movies that have a bunch of creators, influencers, and while they're great at creating content, I'm not sure if they're necessarily fit for acting. Yeah. And I sometimes watch it and I'm like, this could have maybe gone to an actor rather than a content creator / actor.
I think it can be quite frustrating, especially when I've spent so many years training.
Yeah, because it is a lot of work.
Exactly.
I've pretended to be seaweed for hours. It's true. It's traumatizing.
I've been a tree for years.
Yeah.
No, it is quite frustrating.
Since they haven't even been a tree for a minute.
I know. Exactly. And I think it's because I've put in so much work and I'm just like, it's not like I'm just sat here twiddling my fingers waiting for the next thing. Like, I am actively looking for work, and then you get people with a large social media following that's probably never done acting. Yeah. Get the role. And I actually get on my parents' nerves nowadays because they can't watch a series with me without going, they can't act, or they only got it because they were. A lot of people are talented, and I understand that, people get roles for certain reasons, but from my perspective, obviously it's relative, like it's my experience. Yeah, of course. It's frustrating for me because, again, I know how hard I've worked, and it does seem like a kind of elitist thing. Yeah. And, they say they want people with credits, and I'm like, how am I meant to get that credit if I don't have any? Get anything, yeah. Like, you've got to start somewhere. It's like, when you get a CV and they're like, we want 5 years of experience, but we want postgraduates, and you're like, well, how? Yeah, no. That's just how does that work? So Yeah, I mean, obviously great for them that they've got that opportunity, but I do, you know, I'm only human. I am going to struggle to say
And
that
it's-
I don't get
and
upset about it.
It's funny because you don't have a small following at all, and yet you're competing against people with bigger followings. So in the end, it's a numbers game, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing, and I think also it in a bad way makes me compare myself to them, and I think, okay, well, maybe my following's not big enough,
Yeah.
and then I then don't become grateful for the things that I've got or the things that I've achieved in the last, like, even under a year, and then I go, oh, but I need more.
Yeah.
I need this, I need that to be able to get to where I
Yeah.
want to be. Like, oh, this person's only just got their acting role and they've got 1.5 million followers.
Do you think it makes you focus more on followers rather than your acting skills?
Yeah, I think it's. I know
It's just the way it
horrible
is,
to admit,
yeah.
but it is the way it is. I'm like, I need more followers because then
That
leads to
actually will get you
exposure
the
and-
role rather than, just being good.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if someone is wanting to go into the acting industry, what would you advise for them to do on their socials?
I would advise them to just do it for what they like because they love it, not for the societal pressures
Yeah.
or for trying to compare themselves. Which obviously, I mean, I need to take my own advice, like practice what I preach. But yeah, I think the main thing is for your social media, like if you want to go into acting or performing,
Yeah.
definitely post that draft. Like you never know who's looking.
That's true.
And like, I mean, I became viral overnight, and like my life has
But
kind
also,
of changed. Like, a lot.
overnight took how many posts? It took so many posts. So I feel like sometimes when people say, "Oh, it's an overnight success,"
not.
they forget the 100 posts that were posted before that overnight success one.
And it's like, you see videos and stuff like, saying, oh, it was an overnight success. And it's like, no, you need to be realistic. Like, I'm saying it from a point of view that still, she's an actor. I'm an actor. I don't get that many roles. I do so many castings and I'm still going. So don't let it beat you down. Still go, still post it. Keep doing what you love because I think that's the main thing to do.
Yeah, and it takes one overnight post and one overnight audition and one overnight movie. That's really what it is. So I feel like if you keep pushing at the stepping stones that are, bringing you towards the goal, one day there's going to be that last one that leads you to success.
Someone said to me, the more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes.
Oh, I love that.
Which you need to shift your perspective, and I've recently started doing this, and I think it's actually really helped because it's made me realise, you know what, it could mean that I'm close to a yes. So every no I get, I need to get excited because then that means I'm closer.
And to be honest, there's ways and ways. I've always said this, like my end game later. I definitely want to make a movie. So, that will be my passion project. So you can also create work for sure. And I think a lot of actors do that. They get together, they, even help each other with simple things like audition tips and whatever. And oftentimes there's that competitiveness of, I'm not going to help you too much.
Yeah.
But I think that the time will come for everyone.
Yeah.
And helping each other out and creating opportunities for each other is always a good thing as well.
And you never know, like, what's going to come out of it.
Exactly.
So
Collaborating on socials.
Yeah, go for it. Do
Exactly.
it. Why say no?
Right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To less drama in our life and more drama on screen.
I love it. Yes, I will drink.
You look like you could use a drink.